Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and these are some of the stories we have for you tonight. A homicide on St. Thomas, your Crime Stoppers report, and a disgruntled Vitrans driver. These stories and more are coming up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, on St. Thomas, a man is murdered inside Club 75. News Channel 8's Lee Carl reports.
What you're about to hear is an unofficial police report because the event took place at about 4:30 this morning downtown in the area called 75 Corner. Actually, it's an entrance to Chauvin and also to the waterfront. And apparently shots rang out. According to the information we received, is 2 or 3 shots, and then a car speeding away down the highway all the way to the hospital, and that wall you see there called the Dudley Lockhart Wall. Here's the information we have, and it'll probably be fleshed out a little later because the name of the person who died as a result of the gunshots was is not identified at this time, but next of kin, of course, will be notified. 2 other persons were injured, one critical at the hospital, the other injured in gunshots. And then the police persons who supposedly, allegedly were involved here took off in a police chase and ran into that wall behind us. They had injuries to their feet and were taken to the hospital, which is right across the way. We believe they were detained, and another car behind them also was stopped, and it's believed that that car had a large number of cache of weapons. Here's the other part of the story that we tried to piece together. Again, these are not official police reports, we'll have that later, is that outside the club, by the way, takes pains and metal detector and things like that. And apparently, this is a report of some person said they saw someone toss a gun up the veranda into a person there who went inside the club and started firing. Bottom line, 1 man dead, 1 critically injured, another injured, and 2 people apprehended, we believe, for questioning, whose legs apparently or ankles were broken in that car crash this high-speed crash against that wall. Investigation underway. We'll have a little more for you, I'm sure, a little later in the day, since this happened at 4:30 in the morning this morning, and the police are still putting all the pieces together. In St. Thomas, Lee Carl for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Lee. And it's Wednesday, and that's your Crime Stoppers report. Here's News Channel 8's Wes Small with an update for this week.
Thank you, Jerome. It is Wednesday. That means it's time for your Crime Stoppers report. Today, police officials are looking to close cold cases. That's right. Cold cases are cases at least 1 or 2 years old, and these need to be solved, okay? Let's start on St. Croix, and this happened in July of 2007. The body of Francis Augustus was found on Minnie Paws Road in Haypenny, and his burned out vehicle. If you know anything about that on St. Croix, then you should call Crime Stoppers. Let's go to St. John. July 1999, a 10-year-old cold case. Kashawn Daly was shot by an unknown suspect in Cruz Bay, St. John, if you know anything about that. St. Thomas, June of 2007. Dale O'Samuel was shot by an unknown assailant in his Smith Bay home, if you know anything about that. So these 3 murders, these 3 cold cases remain unsolved unless you do something about it, the citizen, and get these murderers off the street. Call 1-800-222-TIPS. Operators are bilingual, 1-800-222-8477. Let me toss some numbers out for you. So far, Crime Stoppers has received over 200 tips. Closure in 38 cases. We have 29 suspects in custody. and we've seized at least 16 illegal weapons, all because of you calling Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Back to you, Jerome.
WAPA is planning a major project in the Grand Princess area of St. Croix. Here's News Channel 8's Wes Small with WAPA's Executive Director, Hugo Hodge.
The director of WAPA now, Mr. Hugo Hodge, is going to talk about some water interruption in the Princess area. Thank you, Mr. Hodge.
Yes, in the Grand Princess, there's been some complaints of rusty water. We've had a situation where some pipes were installed in 1951, 58 years old. The lining is gone, so there is some rust in the water, given discoloration. There's been no bacteria found in testing, but there is some turbidity, which is sediment from the rust, the pellets in the pipe found in that area. What we've done is decided to discontinue service to that area effective July 13th to give the authority an opportunity to replace the piping, put in new piping to serve that area. Should be approximately 3 months before it's restored in entirety, but as we go through the stages and we can get some areas on faster, within a month or so we will do so. So what we have is a situation where we've gotten some complaints about the water. I've had some people bring me the water in the bottles I can see for myself. I even have family members living in the area that have shared their problems. This has been going on for 15, 20 years. I'm just the one that decides that I'm going to bite the bullet and go ahead and get it repaired. With all due respect, we did get some funding via the base rate increase on the water system to allow for projects. This is the first base rate increase on the water system in 15 years. So with that advent, there is some funding available for this, which is going to cost between $800,000 and $1 million for this project. So it's an expensive project, a big undertaking for the authority. But we'll we'll replace the lines, we'll get the water back to those residents that I can feel good about. Any restaurant that I dine at can tell you when I sit down, I always order WAPA water. And I do so religiously throughout the territory, and this will afford me the ability to do that in this area as well.
Okay. That's that. Now I understand that, and I have tasted your water in a little demonstration here. We have a new water company doing some things with your water project. Could you explain briefly about that?
Yeah, what we have here is a reverse osmosis. It's still desalinization. It's still taking salt water and turning it into drinking water. But what we had in our original IDUs is a thermal process that required steam from our generating units to produce the water. This reverse osmosis does not require the steam. It takes electricity but not steam, which means that now, with the advent of putting more RO units online, not only can we get units for a lower cost of production for water on the system, but it frees up some steam requirements so that in the event we are able to find means of replacing our oil generation, we can do more than what we predicted before.
Thanks to WAPA's Executive Director, Hugo Hodge. And staying with WAPA, we have some great scholarship winners coming up next on the news. Stay with us for that, as well as an angry bus driver. That's all coming up next on News Channel 8. Stay with us.